Hello everyone and welcome back to my Let's Play Minecraft Magically Modded series. I've done a few things off camera, so let me go over them. I moved the side to side engine back one, so that it's over the second deployer to make the circuitry a little bit easier. And I've also reset up how the energy and bundle cable go around these and this as well. And today we're going to go into the actual drilling bit part. There are three ways that I thought of that I could do this. The first of which is using arcane bores, which is fairly simple. And I've already built a little something here for that, which I'll go over in a little bit. The second one is using TNT by drilling a hole ahead of you and then placing TNT, a solid block, TNT, a solid block, then igniting the line. You could drill a hole that way. I've ruled out trying that because it would be too expensive and not very clean. You'd get a big jagged hole. Some bits might not get broken and that would stop the rest of the machine, so I've decided not to do that, though it might have been practical if I was going to do a smaller hole than a 5x5. Let's look at what I've built for the arcane bore. Since this is simple, I did this off camera. This will probably be one of the carts I ride in, so it has enough room for me to walk around in here. You have 6 arcane bores, one in every direction, with a toggle latch to turn them on and off. And you have this void chest connected to a filter. This will be providing arcane singularities and new drill bits for the arcane bores, whichever one is running. Then here, all the output from the arcane bore is going to drop into the middle here, be sucked up by this filter, sent to this void chest, and somewhere else it'll be taken out of this void chest and processed. Originally I had planned on having an attached processing facility to this, but instead I'm just going to have it go to a mainland processing facility via void chest. And if I need to get stuff back into the machine, I'll also use void chest to transport it that way. So the tube comes down here, under here, connects to there, and up there, goes down through here, connects up there, and I have apparently forgotten to do that one. Thought I had. But I guess I need to do that one as well. Or maybe I'll just leave that one to do manual, since up and down is not as important as the other directions. Maybe. Trying to see where I could put it. Might could put it right here. Maybe. No, I don't think I would be able to, because that wouldn't have anything to attach to. Okay, I'll just leave it like this then. And that, I think I did something with this by adding the bundle cable and wire around it like it needs to be to connect to this. One problem with the way I've redesigned this is there's no bundle cable connection right here, which is how I had designated it to connect to, but that's going to be taken care of by this part here when it's going that way. It'll be connected here, and this will provide the needed connection for that area. So let me connect these back together. Oh yes, I've also added circuits for the switching from forward to back or side to side. This. So right now we are going forward. And if I do green circuit, now we're going backwards. Like that. Do have to make sure that the engine is reset back. But that'll be easier once I get the computer hooked up. It'll do that automatically. So we can connect that together. Then we are still facing backwards. Go forward again. And we can connect it to the machine here. Eventually. And if we just place one block there, the whole thing will move again. So fairly simple connections. This doesn't have any wiring or anything, because as I said, this is going to be one that I'm inside of. It's also why it's more enclosed, in case I have run through water or lava or something like that, so I can survive it. But that's that part. Now then, the third and final way for drilling through is using block breakers. The reason I think, well, I think this way with the arcane board is going to be better than the block breakers, but I'm not entirely sure. The advantages this has is that it's easier to change directions. It's probably faster. At least I think it's going to be faster. But I think that this one might have some advantages in that this is going to need a constant supply of arcane singularities and arcane board bits. Arcane focuses, that's what they're called. So it might be possible that this has some use. So what we're going to do is build one that's just using block breakers today and see how it compares to that one. So I'm going to get started on that right now. All of the designs that use block breakers work around the same principle. You have to have two lines of block breakers, either going across or going up and down into a detached head that moves, and then you have to move those block breakers either side to side or up and down, because it's not possible to have enough frames to connect both the block breakers and the tubes without having some kind of frame between the block breakers. So you could not have a solid head of block breakers with any design. So the first thing I'm doing here is building the block breaker head connected with RedPower tubes or redstone tubes. Then you have frames set up to move them up and down in the same way that I had the elevator move up and down. So the center frame that's between the block breakers and the tube is what's going to get moved by the frames. And you have it, the bottom ones will move it off themselves and the top ones will move it off themselves. So you only need two on each side, staggered a bit. Made a bit of a mistake here, as I had forgotten to adjust the direction of the frame so that they point up instead of down. That's pretty easy to fix. doing that real fast. And now then you see how it should work. We have another tube, or another line of the redstone tubes for the tubes that connect to the block breakers to connect to. And then the head will move up and down, while that middle tube there will stay stationary and connect to the tubes from the head in whatever position they're in. Then you can just apply a redstone signal to that tube to trigger the block breakers. You of course need the jacketed cable like I have here. And then you have pretty much a working bore head, I guess. Now then, you have to work on getting the tube and everything set up, or not the tube, but all the cables and power and such. It's going to be what I spend the rest of the time of this on. So maybe I'll cut it out since it's not that interesting. Oh yeah, and I'm putting a void chest here for the output of the tubes. So that'll make things a bit easier to move stuff around, just like I have for the other arcane bore machine. It is a little difficult to get the power and everything to fit in right. Also, the problem with this is only one direction, being that the bore head, the drill head right there, block breakers are not actually connected to anything by frames. If you try to push that sideways, the block breaker head will just shear off. You can only go in one direction with this, which is a pretty unwelcome limitation, and probably why I'm not going to end up using this design. Though it is probably fairly quick if you want to only go in one direction. And if you wanted to do something bigger than the 5x5 or 9x9 that I have for my tunnels, it would be a bit more practical. But for something so small, it's just not practical. Another thing you could do is have the block breaker, or have this whole thing just being pushed forward by a single column of frames and not move the rest of the machine, or not move the rest of the machine as much. That would be a little easier, but not quite what I want to do given the plans I have. Okay, got that. Something that works at least. The head here moves up and down, fires the block breakers, which break the blocks, and then you can move that way, but you can only move that way. There's not a way that I can think of to make something that will fit through a 5x5x5 hole that uses this methodology to drill through the blocks. So I do believe we're going to stick with the arcane bore for our drilling portion. There is only 2 more cars we need to do before we can actually build this in the Let's Play world. We need to do the tunnel lining car and the computer car. Computer car is not really going to be all that complicated. May even combine that with the tunnel lining car if I can fit it. But the tunnel lining car is going to be probably one of the most complicated ones for all that I want to do with it. But we'll go over that next time we work on this. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.